Hey guys, what's going on? Rajah here with you for another Street Fighter Duel video. This one's a bit different. I'm just going to be going through what I can see are the differences between China, Taiwan, and global. I see a lot of people talking about how China is the superior version, and hot take, I just don't think it's the case. And if you give me 5-10 minutes of your time, I will try to explain why that is. So the reason why I think a lot of people are looking at China and kind of frothing is you can pull one copy of a character and raise it up to the max level, right? You're not level capped by dupes, but the screen that I'm showing you here is that dupes are still needed to make a character powerful. I'll have to give a shout out now to Scion Storm. I ripped all of these screenshots for the most part off of his videos because I don't have access to China. He is the guy that covers China the most. He knows China the most, and I've watched a lot of his videos, and so I'm kind of using regurgitated information combined with my knowledge of global. So there it is. But anyhow, this is Scion's Ken, and he's maxed. You see that right there, the plus 12? 12 copies. You know, it's not the same as global, but you can plus 12 characters here. You know, that's one thing, and to unlock all their power you need plus 12. So it does happen, and then what happens after you've done with your plus 12? Well, every other character dupe that you get at that point converts into this currency, and there's a shop for you. So you can get things with extra dupes, right? So dupes, you know, they still become useful, but not as useful, you know. Over here, this is their gear screen. I just kind of want to take you guys on a trip on China if you've never seen it, so bear with me here. But this is their gear screen. Their equipment goes up to level 300. There's some... It's like a fight soul, but not a fight soul. You know, right here, the dragon thing. They give different abilities. But the thing is with their equipment is there's 4 tabs here. You see these 4 tabs? There's 4 different tabs of stuff to upgrade for your gear. You know, global has, you know, ranks 1 through 5. And once you're done, you're kind of done. You can upgrade it, you know, up the tier. Through the tier stones, but global has basically simplified a lot of this mess. That is their gear screen. Just going back, you know, level 300, Scion said in his video, that's whale territory. You're not maxing your gear as a free-to-play player. You know, so they have simplified gear for us in global. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, well, that depends on if you're a whale. Because if you're a whale and you want to max more things than other players, then yeah, you might prefer the China system. Me, I kind of like the simplified process. You know, moving along, you know, I just wanted to show this is their formation screen. And the main difference is their assists. The assists that they get 2 assist fighters, but they give power to all the fighters, and the assists are kind of nicer, but you still have to have your assist fighters built up, but it's the exact same stuff with the bonuses, 20 and 25%, 20-20. That's for Master, that's for Infernal, you know, the 15% defense, the 10% speed, the pressure, the crit. It's all the same, you know, we have a lot of the same stuff going on. This is their workshop. It's a universal buff to all fighters, instead of individual buffs like we have. But we get passive coins, and we get coins from Crusader, and you can buy coins in the gold shop, which, you know, I've found I can get about between 2 and 4 5 pulls a week just with the stuff that I have. So it's kind of a passive system, but you know, Sion was saying in one of his videos that if you want to catch up, you know, you're going to need at least a year invested in China to catch up to where he is. You know, it's a large investment of doing this stuff every day. But, you know, it's again, it's sort of like global where there's different tiers of car. This last car down here is like the legendary car. You know, it gives the most stats, but you can build up different cars and they all do different things. The red car is for flame fighters, you know, and so your cars are become more specific to an element than anything, right? So you have to build up multiple cars for different elements, and it's a pain in the butt, you know. But the thing is that right here, you know, you might be asking, where do you get the parts to build the cars and everything? It's in a boss fight. And this is something that I've noticed becomes a theme within China is these boss fights. Like, we fight these guys on global just as a task that pops up. It's like a one-time 20-second fight, and you get a little box, and you're happy. These guys you gotta deal with every day. You gotta fight this stuff every single day, and it becomes a grind. Brings me on to my next thing. This is another boss fight that you gotta, you know, you can do every day. It gives you free loot. You know, it's the cat boss that we have to fight in Shadowloo City. Yeah, on third floor hard mode. He gives us some free loot, you know, every other day. But he's a mini boss within a mode. They've just moved things around in global. You know, so a lot of this is actually the same game, but they've just changed it up a bit. This is the portals, where you get co-op EXP. That's the blue stuff in the middle here. And you have to go into, you know, you can pick a portal to go into, and these are basically giving you EXP gold, or the last one on the side is equipment that you have to basically farm on a daily basis. And on global, we just get idle rewards. You know, we don't have to go through these like, have you noticed a theme with the boss fights? You know, this is going to eat up a chunk of your day as a daily player on global, whereas, you know, in China, you have to spend quite a bit of time actually fighting all of these different bosses and going through all of these different fights to get your daily resources, and you have to do this every day or you're going to fall behind. Global, they've streamlined it. You know, a lot of this stuff you just get on your idle rewards. So they have the monument over here. This opens up on global when you get everybody to 240 and everybody becomes the same level. And it's the same idea here. Just Sion is clearly way ahead, but you know, you can see +7 Akuma, +7 Elena. That's the dupe level, right? So he does have to get dupes for fighters. You know, and we'll come up to how that's a little bit easier on China, but why we might have an easier time on global later. We'll get to that in a minute, but you need dupes. You need dupes. Don't go into China thinking, oh, it's going to be a dupe-free zone. No, sir, you need dupes. It's just you're not going to be stalled by, you know, dupe progress, you know, for your leveling mechanics. You know, it's kind of a pain in the butt on global until you get 4 SSS fighters, and then you can hit 240, and then at 240 everybody will level up with this monument screen, right? But see, there's a base level cap of 500 for him, and it's usually based off of how many fighters, you know, you have. On global, it's based on how many SSS fighters, then you can start raising everybody up. But whatever, it's kind of the same system. Over here they have their map. And this is kind of hilarious because the stuff on the map is just all over the place. We on global, we have all the same stuff pretty much, just it's in different tabs, and it's a lot more streamlined. This was kind of a mess. If you watch one of Sion's videos, he kind of says that it's a bit of a mess with what they did. They just put stuff all over the place, and you might not even notice some of the stuff on the map, right? But this is the dupe machine. Well, not a dupe machine, but it's a fragment machine. And we have this machine on global, but the requirements to open it are level 120 in all 3 of the element towers, wind, fire, and lightning. I don't think too many people are there yet, but we'll have to see what this turns into. But on China, inside of that machine, you can pick your character. Like, he has Akuma, Elena, and Goken. And then you have your extra fighters here, and the better quality fighters you stick in, the higher the chance you'll get extra fragments. You're guaranteed 3 base fragments a day. And he said that you can get anywhere from 6 to 10 fragments a day, depending on if it crits or not, right? So it is a way for them to get dupes without paying money, just it's a long process, right? This is our fighting heart. They have this in China, but it's split up by all the different elements, and within each element, you can only register 5 fighters for that element to get the bonuses. Whereas in global, it's split up not by element, but by assassin, balance, tank, and you level those up individually, but it encompasses all the fighters, not just select fighters that you pick, right? The other thing they have on China is the true fighting moves. You see how there's a 1 and then another 1 with the flame things on it or whatever. You have to set up basically specific combo moves in your chain when you're attacking to be able to unlock these special combo moves during the fight, for your fighter to be able to get the most, get their most powerful attacks out. Whereas on global, it's streamlined. Most of these are all involved with the fight soul. Mad Ryu is a good example. As soon as you open up his fight soul, he gets his new ability, and that was his true fighting style move on China, that you had to do a specific combo, and then on your next combo chain you could use the red screen Shoryuken or whatever. They made it a lot easier to do stuff, and this is the way it can look, and you can't really even play auto. The computer apparently won't use the true fighting moves or whatever. They'll use the base moves. You kind of have to control it a whole lot more, so you definitely have to watch everything and play on manual. You do have to play on manual on global as well, but I don't know, it's a vastly different combat system while still being the same combat system. This is a bit of a mess, and it's a lot to remember, and I guess some could say it's more skillful. To me, it's a bit more messy, larger margin for error, if you're tired and not paying attention. Global seems a lot easier to play. Global's more about timing than anything, to get your interrupts off and stuff, and interrupting isn't really a thing over here. B. Zangief would just get wrecked, from everything I've heard. So that's kind of a global thing, all the interrupts. So yeah. This is the China version. I've kind of tried to go through each thing that I could find, but overall, the way I see it, China is a bit of a convoluted mess, where Tencent didn't really know what they were making at first, and they just kept going on with it, and changing it as they went. Originally you had promotion materials in this version, and they just phased those promotion materials out. I didn't go through all of Cyan's videos to take pictures of everything, but he showed in one video all the promotion materials that are just sitting in his bag that aren't even used anymore from when he first started playing. And so they constantly kept changing the system. And then Tencent, again, they actually released Taiwan, and Tencent is also involved with global in some way. So it is actually the same developer all the way through. They've just built upon the idea, and they took it from, in China being basically a traditional RPG with a million different systems for upgrades, which really doesn't favor the free-to-play player, in all honesty. They've taken that and they've turned it into more of an idle RPG, which, in my opinion, favors your time, even though people might be stuck and they're like, oh, I don't have much to do every day. Well, that China to me screams burnout in about 6 months. Unless you're really dedicated and just absolutely in love with it. I think a lot of players would burn out from China in 6 months. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just the way I feel. But then, let's move on to, Taiwan. And Taiwan is actually the closest version to global. We can see Akuma in here, and I stole these photos from Rokage, another YouTuber, because he got on to Taiwan. I'm not bothering to get on these versions, but a couple of people did. But there's Akuma as a master, and so in China, I don't know if I had it there. In China, Akuma down here, he's just beside Ken. He's a fire. But already in Taiwan, they had changed Akuma to a master. So this is nothing new. People might freak out about it or something and say, oh no, they're changing everything and he might not be free to play. No, he will probably be obtainable by gems and everything. All these characters are normal characters. I took a screenshot of the next row, so we can see Barlog, Vega, and Sagat. Expect them to be in divination and stuff like that. At some point, I'm sure. But this is the whole thing. We look more like Taiwan, but we have kind of most of the same features as China. Just if there's things we're missing from China, it seems like we may get them. Like, this game's only not even a month old. You got to give it a bit of time. China's like 2-3 years old now, so of course they're going to have a few more things than we have. But we have, I don't, if you go and look up Scion Storm, he does a comparison video between global and China, and he points out, like, everything's the same. They've just done everything different in global, but we have a Taiwan base, but they're also bringing in everything from China, because they're trying to simplify everything. But if you look over on Taiwan, they recently had the Monster Hunter Ken event. Well, we did, and yes, Monster Hunter Ken was legendary there. But the problem was, you could only buy Monster Hunter Ken on Taiwan with money. Now, all the people screaming about, free to play this and there's no free to play on Taiwan. Taiwan has to be the absolute most greediest server I have seen from the videos I have found on it. It is not a free to play game in Taiwan at all. And in China, yes, Ken was legendary, and yes, you could get one copy of him. But like I tried to show with my first picture, you still need 12, you probably need a good 8 copies to make a character viable. 7-8 copies, 12 copies to max them out. So don't think that just because China you could get a legendary Monster Hunter Ken, he's going to be all awesome and everything. He's okay, but you're going to have to invest a lot more work into him to get him working properly, and it's the copy thing, you still... But yeah, you still needed a whole bunch of copies in China. It doesn't matter which way you want to cut it. I think the system in global is actually superior to these other two versions for different reasons. I think everything in global is a lot more streamlined. I think they've actually given us quite a lot of free stuff. As I played my free-to-play account, I noticed, like, hey, this isn't actually that bad. It's just people want to finish the story and see, like, the end of the game. Well, I saw a video today where, somebody spent like $20,000. They're stuck on 3740, and at that point in the chapters, you have to fight a 3-boss team. Like, it's ridiculous. The whales of the whales are up there, but enjoy the game for what it is. It's a gacha. Don't try to rush through the entire story, because there's the end game is the daily stuff we're playing, as is the arena, the events. They're gonna bring out more stuff. There's some other arena final showdown thing that's going to unlock soon. We have Budo Battle that just unlocked. That should be an interesting little thing. It's a good community. It's especially if you join the official Street Fighter Discord. Forget about all the drama, everything going on. It's a great place to be. They have a great community manager, great moderators. Everything's good over there. There was just a lot of drama over Monster Hunter Ken because it's their first boss, and it got a really bad rap. But you know, honestly, when I look at Taiwan, well, you know, this event isn't actually that bad, especially after they're giving us Monster Hunter Ken, and we've just got a notice that says the missing tiers from all the Gore Magala kills, we're going to get those after the final boss kills, so we'll have some extra pulls to do on Monster Hunter Ken. I think a lot of people may get lucky and end up with a second copy of Monster Hunter Ken on top of the one we get for shards, if we get all those extra pulls. Especially if you get like 13 plus. It just seems to be the way it is. I'm not going to talk about the pity system or the rigged rates, as some people call it, in this video. That's for a different video. This is just comparing China to CN, China to Taiwan to global, and that's it. I gotta say, I think global is actually the superior version. I know a lot of people might think that's a hot take, but when I look at all these different convoluted systems, especially this gear system, it's just a money sink. You know, this workshop system, I actually don't mind the one in global because it's quick. You know, I get coins just for doing things that I was doing anyways. I get my idle rewards. I get to do pulls. And, you know, I don't have to go in and do these daily boss battles over and over and over and over again, you know, for the next 365 days of my life. You know, I don't want to do that. I don't know if other people do, but my feeling is it might be cool to fight them once in a while, and we actually have a lot of these bosses in. We don't have Red Lady Chun-Li. We don't have some of the fights yet, but that's the thing, is that China's so far ahead of us, we're probably going to get them eventually. We do have a lot of the same systems as China. We don't have this convoluted map system. You know, it's a more well thought out game. And even though we need dupes to progress, it's a matter of time before you get the dupes, because you can't avoid the dupes. The dupes are all over the place, be it China, Taiwan, or global. It's all the same thing, really. So I'll leave you guys with that. This has gotten on long enough, and if you think this is just a dirty hot take, let me know in the comments below, but this is the way I feel about it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.